Storytelling. Listen closely, friends, and gather near. Our tale begins on a day when trains ran from crowded cities to quiet hills, carrying 4 children to the countryside. Peter, steady and brave; Susan, calm and thoughtful; Edmund, quick and stubborn; and Lucy, the smallest, with eyes that always noticed wonder first. They arrived at an enormous house, the kind that creaks politely and smells of books and polish. Its owner, a kind old professor, welcomed them with a smile that seemed to say, "Adventure is a guest who often enters by the side door." The house had staircases like rivers and rooms that felt like secrets. On a rainy afternoon, the children decided to play hide and seek. Lucy slipped into a spare room where a tall, dark wardrobe stood, quiet as a bear in winter. She opened the door. Fur coats brushed her cheeks. She pushed deeper, and the floor changed from wood to something powdery and cold. Snow. Lucy stepped out into a silent wood where a single lamppost burned with a steady, lonely light. Snowflakes turned slowly in the air like tiny dancers. Out from the trees came a curious figure with hooves and a scarf and a parcel under his arm. Mr. Tumnus, a faun with kind, worried eyes. He bowed, stammered, and invited Lucy for tea. In his snug cave, the kettle sang and the fire crackled. They ate toast and honey, and Mr. Tumnus told her about the land called Narnia, a beautiful country trapped in an endless winter without any holidays. A cruel white witch had made it so. Mr. Tumnus struggled with a secret. He had been ordered to capture any human he found, but his heart was bigger than his fear. He led Lucy back to the lamppost and showed her the way home. When Lucy tumbled out of the wardrobe, the clock in the hall still ticked the same second. She told her brothers and sister everything: snow, faun, lamppost, but they only laughed. The one who laughed the loudest was Edmund. Days later, Edmund tried the wardrobe himself. He found the same snowy wood, but not Mr. Tumnus. Instead, a sleigh slid across the snow, drawn by white reindeer. Its rider was a woman wrapped in fur, beautiful as frost and twice as cold, the White Witch. Her voice was honey poured over ice. She fed Edmund enchanted sweets and promises. "Bring your brother and sisters to my castle," she purred, "and you will be a prince." Edmund agreed before he understood what the agreeing meant. Soon after, all 4 children found Narnia together. They hurried to Mr. Tumnus's cave, but the door was smashed, and a notice warned that he'd been arrested for helping a human. Lucy's eyes filled with tears. That was when 2 whiskered faces peeped from the bracken. Mr. Beaver and Mrs. Beaver, brave, bustling, and practical, whispered, "Quickly, this way." In their warm dam, by the polite clatter of plates, the Beavers told a story that set every heart beating fast. Aslan, the great lion, had returned to Narnia. When Aslan came, winter would lose its teeth. There was a prophecy, too. When 2 sons of Adam and 2 daughters of Eve sat on the 4 thrones at Cair Paravel, the witch's reign would end. While they planned to meet Aslan, Edmund slipped away, drawn like a moth by the witch's promises. He trudged through rising drifts toward her castle, which looked like winter had grown a crown. Inside were stone statues, creatures frozen mid-laugh, mid-leap, mid-life. Edmund shivered as the witch greeted him without warmth. "Where are the others?" she demanded. When he admitted he hadn't brought them, her smile cracked. Back at the Beavers' dam, the children and their host set out to find Aslan. The world was changing under their feet. The air softened. Icicles began to cry themselves into water. bells jingled, and a cheerful traveler with a beard and a sleigh came trundling over the snow. He brought gifts, not toys, but tools. To Peter, a sword and shield for defending the weak. To Susan, a bow and a horn for calling help in need. To Lucy, a small crystal vial whose drops could heal. "Merry courage," he laughed, and the sleigh swept on. They climbed a green hill now peeking through the melting snow, and found a pavilion of colored banners, and there, larger than courage, stood Aslan. His mane held the gold of summer, his eyes were full of deep mournings. The children wanted to run to him and wanted to bow at the same time. Aslan spoke quietly, as if the hills themselves leaned closer. Soon a band of Aslan's scouts brought Edmund back, cold, ashamed, and rescued from the witch's grip. Aslan walked alone with Edmund and spoke words none of the others heard. When they returned, Aslan said only, "There is no need to talk about what is past." Peter gripped his brother's shoulder. Lucy and Susan smiled through relief. Edmund stood straighter. Then the witch arrived, tall and certain, with a claim older than the hills. The deep magic of that land, she said, gave her the right to the life of every traitor. Edmund had betrayed his family. By law, he belonged to her. The camp stiffened. Aslan led the witch into his tent. They spoke alone for a long time. When they emerged, the witch's smile had returned. Aslan's was gentle and weary. "The claim shall be satisfied," he said. That night, while the camp slept uneasily, Aslan walked out into the dark. Susan and Lucy followed at a distance. He came to the stone table, carved with ancient runes, and waited. From the shadows gathered the witch and her creatures, wolves, ghouls, and things with too many teeth. Aslan did not fight. He bowed his great head. The witch lifted her blade. The forest held its breath. Dawn seeped into gray. The crowd melted away. The stone table stood quiet, Aslan's body bound upon it. Susan and Lucy wept and kept watch. Then, a sound like a mountain sighing, the stone table split from end to end. The air smelled new. A great shadow lifted, and Aslan stood alive, brighter than the morning. "There is a magic deeper than the deep magic," he explained gently. "When a willing, innocent one gives his life for a traitor, death itself starts working backwards." They raced to the witch's castle. Aslan breathed upon the stone statues, and color leapt back into their faces. Laughter shook legs that had forgotten how to bend. Mr. Tumnus rubbed his eyes and bowed until he nearly fell over. With a joyful army at their heels, they hurried to the valley where battle had begun. On a ridge, Peter stood with shield raised. The witch's wand turned warriors into stone with a touch. Edmund, remembering the old mistake and choosing differently now, charged straight for her wand and struck it, shattering the spell's tool. He fell wounded, but he fell true. Lucy ran to him, a trembling drop from her vial on his wound, and color came back to his cheeks. Then Aslan bounded into the fray like thunder wrapped in sunlight. The witch's last smile was thin as ice in spring. The valley rang with victory cries. All around them winter loosened, rivulets ran, birds made bright threads of song, and the land exhaled a long-held breath. Soon, under banners that smelled of the sea, the children came to Cair Paravel, the castle by the shining water. In a hall of bright windows they were crowned, King Peter the magnificent, Queen Susan the gentle, King Edmund the just, and Queen Lucy the valiant. They ruled with kindness. Roads were mended, gardens planted, songs learned. Years passed like chapters you wish to read slowly. One day, while chasing a white stag, rumored to grant wishes, they rode deep into a familiar wood and found a lamp on a post, burning steadily in broad daylight. "Does it remind you of anything?" Lucy asked. They stepped between the trees, pushed through soft fur coats, and stumbled out of the wardrobe, children again. The same moment, the same rainy afternoon. Not a single drop had slid further down the window. The house was just a house, but the four of them wore a secret smile. When they told the professor, he didn't laugh. He only twinkled and said, "You may find your way again, but you won't get there by trying the door every 5 minutes. Keep your eyes open. Narnia has a habit of calling when you least expect it."
So they listened to the wind in the chimneys, to footsteps that sounded like wild hooves, to the hush a room makes when it's holding its breath. Because once you've walked under a lamppost in a snowy wood, you know the world is wider than maps can hold, and you never quite stop looking for the next door. What this story leaves in our hands, that honesty and forgiveness can mend a broken promise, that true courage is doing what's right even when you're afraid, and that hope is strong enough to melt the longest winter.